Hello everyone. Welcome back to Transport Fever 2. I am Arctic Wolf and this is episode 23. Right now, I'm just balancing the new tram lines. It seemed that the tram from McKinney to Indianapolis was extremely overloaded at this station right here. So I added some trams to it, and they're on their way. There's one right there. So, yeah, that's what we did last episode. We've got all sorts of things happening now. It's really, really cool. Like, look at our money, 1.5 billion. I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up right here. What I did was I went into my line manager and I realized that the main lines were costing us upwards of $10 million each to maintain. The southeast one was costing us 8, the other two were costing us 10. And that is attributed to having the locomotives that we currently had, their maintenance cost was $2 million each. And they were not bringing in that much money for profit. So I switched everything over to the Metroliner, which costs $2 million less per train. And then on the Southeast Main Line on the other side of the river over there, I dropped it down to 2 trains. And that should fix that particular problem. Pardon me. So yeah, we've got 12 total Metroliners on the network now. And then we're going to be good until we get the high-speed ones. Even then, after we get the high-speed ones can't run on these tracks. We have to put new track down for the high-speed ones. So, and then I watched things for a while. We finally got our extra runway upgrade for our airports. So that had a major influence on what we ended up doing today. I started out by putting down the extra airports in the goods factory airport, or the extra runways in the goods factory airport. And then I started to balance the plastic line, and I realized it wasn't getting enough plastic, so I backtracked it to where it was backed up, and there we just unlocked the top tier train cargo wagons and the Speedence monorail, or not monorail, but multiple electric passenger train thing. It's the best that you can get as the Americans. There's one more that can go faster, but its acceleration is not as good. So here we're switching out to the new loco, the one that can go 75 miles an hour. We're going to give it the new cargo oil cars, liquid cars. And we're going to put 2 locos, one up front, one on back. This is just to clear off that oil. We'll come back to these trains afterwards. But I kind of just wanted to check out what I was dealing with as far as the locos and what was going on in here, because a lot of the stuff that we are using right now is not even available for sale anymore. So we're gonna have to upgrade everything to the newest and best again in the future. I follow this guy for a while, and then I decide that we'll do that later. We just unlocked the new Cobra tram that carries 45 people. So that's going to be the one we put on all our tram lines. We'll get to that in the future as well. I considered doing the construction materials. I couldn't really think of a good way to tie this all in yet. And then it hit me. If I put an airport at every city and then tie them all to a passenger network, all I have to do is add a runway and put a cargo station in on the airport, and then I can transfer goods from every city to every city, and I won't have to add any more infrastructure to the network. So that's what I started doing. I went around, I added an airport to every city. I connected the bus routes to a bus stop that was right in front of the airport in every city. And then over on the main side of the river, in the middle between Kansas City and High Point, in that empty valley right there, I put an international airport that's just a hub. It's not connected to any cities. It just all the passenger traffic from all the airports and all the cities come to the central hub. And that's the only line they have connected. So if you want to get from one city to another, it's just one stop. You fly to the central hub, you get on the plane you want to go to, and you fly out and go. Every city is connected to every city with airports. It's fantastic. But I'm going to throw some music down right here and let you guys enjoy watching me put in all these airports, and I will come back to you after the song. So as you could see during the musical break there, I kept just putting down the airport. I'm trying to pay attention to the direction of the air traffic coming in, and I don't want the airplanes to be coming in and taking off directly over top of the city. That produces way too much emissions. If you can try to get it to where the airplanes will circle around the city when they come in and leave, that's better. If you can get it where they're going the complete other direction, that's the best. um, some of these cities had a little bit of an issue with room, making things fit. High Point and Billings were especially difficult. But we got them in there. We got them all in there. This will be Kansas City. All the cities got a little bit of some kind of road extension to connect to the airport. Sometimes I would go in and configure and move them around. I put all the hangars back in. I don't know why I did that. You guys will see later. I go through, like right here, that's what I'm doing. I'm going through and I delete all the hangars on all the airports in the cities because they're not going to need them. All the airplanes are going to be purchased at the main hub airport, and that main hub airport is going to have a double runway, and it's going to have a terminal for every city. It's not even, it is down, but it's not configured. We'll configure everything right here. We get rid of all these the depots, the hangars, and all these airports, and then we go to the main hub, and we add a bunch of passenger terminals, another runway, another taxiway, and then a whole bunch more passenger terminals. There's 11 total cities on this map. I ended up putting down 13 terminals, which is too many, so I'll come back in and delete those. But then we add a line from the main hub to each city, and some of these lines are pretty interesting looking. I'm not cared about them crossing over or anything like that for the passenger lines. They're just going to be 2 planes on each line anyway, one sitting there waiting for people and one hopefully flying people back. That's the max. So we moved this down. The one line that was out of place, we moved it up into the right spot, and then we got rid of the 2 extra terminals. Then I go through and I name it whatever city it's going to air, and ended up being dark blue for all the passenger air network. Because I like blue. If you haven't noticed yet, I like blue. Blue's my color. Specifically light blue cyan, but I'll take what I can get. We've got, yep, now I'm coloring all the lines, making them all dark blue. And I made a mistake right there. I colored the plastic line and the steel line too, because I wasn't paying attention. And I was looking at all the planes we have. Of all these planes, the Tupolev down there is probably better for as far as maximum number of people. But the Boeing 757, the one that we bought, goes faster. It carries 5 less people. It's 50 instead of 55. But it goes faster, and its loading speed is 10x versus the 1x on the Tupolev. So I went with the Boeing. The airplanes are pretty much standard no matter which nationality you pick at the beginning of the game. As far as I know, there's a couple of the earlier ones that you'll get for Asia or Europe that you don't get with America, but after you get to 1970, all the airplanes are pretty much the same. I think it's the same with boats. The boats are just the same no matter what anyway. So, but now we're putting planes on the lines. It's going to take a while for these things to all get out there and get going. But once they do, you'll notice that there's people waiting at all the airports. And then I checked the river cross cruise to see how it's doing. It's doing fine. It's not overloaded. We did add another boat to that in one of the previous episodes, but I didn't mention it. It was in the time lapse, but I didn't say anything. And now we got airport hub. I named it Arctic Wolf International Airport instead of whatever High Point Annex, whatever it was called. And then I'm just following Boeing 757, I think it is. Yeah, that's what we got. And making sure it's going where it needs to go. It's doing what it needs to do. I come in here, I check how many passengers are in the airport. It's not quite enough for a full load. Then I decided to go and tell them to all wait for a full load at their outlying airport, so they're always bringing a full load back to the hub. So there, airplanes. That was fun. I really enjoyed making this episode. Well, okay, there we have it. Passenger airplanes for everyone. This was, I know, I've been putting off the resources. I know. I really enjoy the airplanes part of this game. This is, once you get the double runways, this is just so cool. You can have so much traffic going every which way. One other thing that I've noticed while playing this game, the lag problem seems to have been addressed. Usually it's 2002 right now in game. Usually when you get to this point in the game where you got this many lines running everywhere carrying this much goods, it starts to stutter and lag and be jerky and frame ratey. But I guess there was a big update while I was not playing this game that introduced a whole bunch of quality of life fixes. So kudos to the developers for that one. This is amazing. Like, normally I got this much stuff sitting on all these docks and all these vehicles running around, it would start getting stuttery. And I would have to turn the speed down to 1 or 2 instead of 3 just to make it smooth. But no, this is, yeah, really smooth. So kudos again to the developers for that. It is making this so much easier and more fun to play. We're doing fantastic. We're almost done completely with the map. We have like a half a dozen resources and stuff to tie in, and there's a couple of cities that don't have all the stuff they need. That's gonna be next episode, I promise. We're gonna do that. We're gonna tie in the construction materials, and then any city that's not getting what it needs is gonna get what it needs. Then after that, we'll have an upgrade everything to the most modern equipment episode, and then we're probably gonna be done. That's where we're at for now. I'm gonna have to call it here for today. I'm really enjoying making this one, this playlist. I really hope you guys are enjoying watching these episodes as much as I am enjoying making these episodes. If you are, go ahead and throw a like on the video. Hit that thumbs up button. If you like the whole series and you really enjoy my content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really shows me that you care. And if you want to know Exactly. When my next video comes out, hit that bell icon. It'll tell you when I upload a video. But you people have a wonderful day. Thanks for stopping by. And with that, Arctic Wolf out.